Quick note before we start the show. I recorded these segments at different times. So there was probably like a 2-week gap between when I recorded segment 1 and segment 2 because I got sick and my throat was killing me and I sounded like I had a frog in it. Probably still do. But I do repeat myself a couple different times. So that's why. Also, the blend that I reviewed was the Ennerdale Mixture, the bulk mixture, and not the flake, although I'm assuming they're the same, except one's rubbed out. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for your support, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Talkin Tobacco. I am your host, Bill, and on today's show, I'm going to be talking about Galwith and Hogarth's Ennerdale Flake. And then I am going to give you my list of tobaccos to smoke around the holidays that are not marketed as holiday blends. There was no easy way to say that. I tried to rehearse that like 5 times. I don't know how to say it, but they're basically blends that are your everyday blends that I had smoked in the past and made a little note on them saying, you know what, break this one back out during the Christmas season. So I thought that would be fun. It's a little different. Might give you some ideas of tobaccos to smoke around the holidays. And the last tobacco I give you, I kind of go on a little bit of a rant. It's just for fun, but if you like to hear guys talking crap about other guys, not exactly, obviously, but stick around for that. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and have a very Merry Christmas and enjoy the show. All right, Ennerdale is a Virginia burley. It is classified as an aromatic. It's a broken flake. I am not a big aromatic guy. Occasionally like something like this mixture, but this is a European style, so it's not a clump of wet, goopy, black Cavendish smothered in some, fragrance that you can't stand. This is an actual Virginia flake, and it's a beautiful looking flake. It does have that floral, kind of light Lakeland essence. I mean, it is a Galwith Hogarth blend, so you kind of suspect that going in. I know it's not on all their blends, but you can kind of suspect that. I like that essence. Not everybody does. I understand that. But I would say this is definitely on the lighter spectrum of that. And one of the reasons I wanted to do Ennerdale now is because one of the shows I thought about doing, one of the episodes I was thinking about doing during the holidays, would be an episode on holiday blends that are not necessarily marketed as holiday blends. So, you know how like Cornell and Deal has, We Three Kings, and that obviously comes out around Christmas time and stuff like that. Or you might have like LJ Peretti does their Thanksgiving mixture. These are going to be blends that are not marketed for the holidays at all. So they're just blends that I kind of stumbled across over the years. And as I'm smoking them, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't love this, but it's got some unique flavors that I think I would like during, the holiday season, Christmas time, Thanksgiving. And I kind of compiled a short list of those tobaccos, and I was going to do an episode where, I just kind of read those off. And Ennerdale's on there for sure. But I just smoked a bowl, and I said, why don't I just do an episode on Ennerdale, and I'll try to figure out how I want to do the rest. I don't know if I'm going to do one each episode or if I'm just going to read the list. But it's the first week in November, and I figured it might be a good time to start it. Not trying to rush Christmas here, boys. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Thanksgiving guy. I love Thanksgiving. But I figured this might not come out for another few days anyway. You're almost in the mid-November, and it might give people a time to maybe, who knows, maybe you want to order one of these for the holidays. So that's why I'm kind of starting it a little bit early. So anyway, let me give you the background. I know a lot of you already know about this blend. It's not new by any means, but if you never read the description on smoking pipes, I'm going to give it to you now. And the first paragraph talks a little bit about the Gawith and Hogarth Company, so bear with me. Founded in Kendall, Gawith and Hogarth and Company has fashioned quality pipe tobacco since 1887, utilizing processes and techniques that date back to 1792. The Cumbria-based company prioritizes natural tobacco flavor, and in many of their mixtures, Gawith and Hogarth and Company maintains the standards enforced by the United Kingdom's strict purity laws of the 19th and 20th centuries. Such laws dictate how much and what type of flavorings could be added to pipe tobacco, and ensuring the sub-quality leaf wasn't hidden under the veil of exorbitant toppings. So it was a way for the UK to protect the consumer from, companies grabbing crap and trying to smear butterscotch on them. I just translated that for you. Ennerdale Flake is Gawith and Hogarth's and Company best-selling flake, which I did not know. That's pretty crazy. And it exemplifies the Lakeland style of pipe tobacco for which the blending house is known, incorporating floral essences into mixture's top notes. For Ennerdale Mixture, a ready-rub version of Ennerdale Flake, those floral essences combine with almond, rum, citrus, and vanilla toppings across Virginia and Burley tobaccos. Gawith and Hogarth is particularly lauded for their flake tobaccos, which are still produced using machinery from the 1790s and with production patents from the late 1800s. Gawith and Hogarth only production changed in the last 100 years involved transitioning from coal-fired to gas-operated tobacco presses, and their flakes are pressed for nearly a month before being sliced and tinned, personifying traditional pipe tobaccos at their best. Ennerdale Mixture adds just one extra step in that process, rubbing out Ennerdale Flake into a convenient broken flake cut. And I got to be honest, so like I said, I have the bulk version, which I guess is their Ennerdale Mixture, and it's really not broken up that much. I mean, they're just not uniform flakes like you would see in if you opened up a Stokeby, if you ever smoked Evening Flake from Eric Stokeby, or the HH flakes. So McBaron's HH line, those flakes, they're perfect squares. I mean, really, Sam Gawith doesn't have those anyway, as far as I remember. I mean, even when you look at like Virginia, full Virginia flake, it's not like a square flake. They're all kind of broken. This is not rubbed out by any means. So it's not like Cornell and Deal's rubbed out flakes. Like if you opened up any of the C&D, broken flakes, it's not like that. Even the GLPs, which is, I think, manufactured at Cornell and Deal, they're broken flake. Like Chelsea Morning. If you open up Chelsea Morning, you could tell it was a flake, and it's kind of broken up really good. This is still mostly intact. So it's interesting that they're calling it a broken flake because there's giant pieces of flake. I guess, I mean, you could pull it out. It almost pulls out like Orlick Golden Sliced. The flakes are gorgeous. They're brown. They're definitely like textured. Like you could tell the flakes had, toppings put on. The smell is potent. I mean, you definitely smell floral and maybe vanilla. And it's funny that this description says citrus because I feel like in the background, I got to put this lid on. It is potent. It smells really good though. I did get a little bit of orange slice, like it's way back there, but maybe that's the citrus that they're referring to. Anyway, that's what I get. So getting back to like when I smoke this flake, this is definitely for me. Okay, let me preface this by saying, and I've said this many times on this podcast, so if you listen to any of the other episodes, you're already going to know this. But I feel like I want to say this almost every time before I do a review. My favorite tobacco are straight Virginias and Virginia Periques, and particularly red Virginia Periques in the winter and bright Virginia and Virginia Periques in the summer. Now, I stray from that. I like burley blends. I like really light English blends, but I have been getting away from Latakia. So my winters used to be English blends with Latakia, no problem. But I'm almost morphing into I just want red Virginia with Perique, like Carolina Red Flake with Perique, or even some Carolina Red Flakes don't even need Perique. Like I'm smoking the Carolina Red Flake 2022, which doesn't have Perique, and believe me, it feels and tastes like it has Perique. But anyway, the reason I like saying that is because, and I feel like every reviewer on YouTube should preface what their preference is before they do a review. Maybe not so much on YouTube, because if you watch them every week, you kind of know who they are, you know what they like. But if you're watching them from the first time, you wouldn't know that, right? Where it really kind of bothers me a little bit is when you read reviews online. So if you're reading a review for a blend on like Smoking Pipes or on Tobacco Reviews, and you see somebody give a 1 star on a blend that's a 4.1, which is what Ennerdale Flake is, or Ennerdale Mixture is, on Smoking Pipes, and then you see somebody give it a 1 or a 2, they should preface that by telling you, okay, maybe you hate aromatics, or maybe you love English and you don't typically smoke something like this. So your palate is not going to tolerate that anyway. If you do that and then give it a 1 or 2, it's like, okay, well, at least I know I can kind of like throw that review in my head out. Like, so that's really not, this guy doesn't normally smoke these blends. It's just not his wheelhouse. Of course, you're not going to like it, that type of thing. So that's why I like saying what I typically smoke before I start talking about the tobacco. That being said, I do feel like there's a time and a place for almost any mixture. Just because I'm not an aromatic lover doesn't mean I'll never smoke them, or I'll just throw them out altogether. There's a time and a place, and like I mentioned in the beginning, this to me is a really good holiday blend. And since we're coming up on the holidays, this is going to be getting worked back into my rotation. Not on the regular, but on occasion, it's going to be in there. And I mentioned this, of course, in other episodes where, my first love is Virginia. And when I get a chance to smoke, and my favorite time to smoke is first thing in the morning. So it's not first thing in the morning because I have a 6-year-old and I have to get him up with, and get him dressed and get him to school. But after I get home, I like to have a cup of coffee and like decompress, because my mornings are just batshit crazy, like I'm sure a lot of yours are. So like, I'm getting up super early. I have dogs, they get fed. I got to get the boy fed. I got to get him dressed. I mean, my wife's here too. She does a lot too, but I'm involved. So like I have things I do for him, and then she gets up and packs his lunch. And anyway, it's get him out. So once I drop him off at school She does the pickup, guys. I'm not doing everything. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm doing everything, but this is a typical morning. Once I drop them off at school, if I don't have morning appointments, I can pour my coffee and sit in my room and my back room, my property. I talked about that. Kind of got like a sunroom with a lot of windows. And I can have my coffee and my pipe, and I have my phone, and I'll be checking emails, and I'll be responding to emails or text or calls or anything at that time. If usually I don't have to be sitting in front of my computer first thing in the morning, but sometimes I have morning appointments, and I can't do that. So I'm like off to the races. I got to come home and get myself together and get back out the door. But my favorite time to enjoy a bowl is right in the morning when I get home with that coffee. So I typically reserve those times for my favorite tobaccos because I'm probably not going to get another bowl in that day. And if I do, it's just not the same. It's not my favorite time. I haven't eaten a bunch of meals. It'll be usually probably after dinner or something. But and that's kind of when I'll go off the board a little bit, what I call off the board, which is I won't smoke my loves because I save them for my for my coffee time. This is just the shit we do, guys, okay? So I'll grab something off the board, like something like this, but only this time of year, like Ennerdale Flake. Or I might grab a Burley or a Codger blend or something like that, because then I'm probably not having a coffee because I'm old as shit. And then what happens is if I have a coffee that late, I can't sleep. So I wind up having like a decaf tea or just a regular black tea, with some honey in it. And the flavors just aren't the same. So I'll go off the board. I won't smoke my favorite blends. But anyway, there's a time and a place for every mixture. Okay. And that helps when you have, like I do, so many open tobaccos down the basement and in the cellar, and they don't get touched most of the time, but that's when they do. When I have my like freed up time, it's not my favorite smoke time, so I'll mix in something different. But that helps me like rotate in and out other blends. This is definitely not my first Lakeland. The first time I had a Lakeland, I did not love it, but I did learn over the years to appreciate it. I just kind of like the way it's old school. And this is the way, especially in Europe, the guys that used to smoke it way back in the day. So I like that kind of nostalgia thing. And this is definitely not overwhelming. It's there, but you get there's other flavors there. And like I mentioned, the flake is more brown than black. Like if you ever had Sam Gawith's 1792 flake, that's like a black flake. And those, I went and opened that jar just to get a whiff of that and compare it to this. I haven't had that. I haven't smoked a bowl of that in a while, but I wanted to get like the aromas and look at the flake. That's a black flake, and it's got darker, smokier characteristics, I'm sure in the taste, but definitely in the smell, than this. Ennerdale's lighter. It's more like, this isn't a great analogy, but it's more like, let's say like 1792 flake is almost like a dark chocolate, and Ennerdale's more of like a milk chocolate. Now, I prefer dark chocolate over milk chocolate, but sometimes it's just, it's just different flavors. Now, I'm not saying that Ennerdale tastes like milk chocolate, but just more like the color and the aroma versus 1792. The flake itself is a nice looking flake. It kind of looks like, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of, if you ever had Sutliff's 507C, it kind of looks like that. But like I said, there's the texture. It's got a rough texture, and it's got to be because of the toppings that were on top of it that have soaked into the leaf. But it is a Virginia blend. Let's just say that. It's predominantly Virginia leaf from Brazil, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. And there's some burley in it, which is maybe giving it the almond flavor. I mean, I think the almond flavor is artificial, but burley is a nutty flavor. But that's kind of what you definitely get. You get this vanilla, almond, a little bit of like a tiny bit of citrus. It's tiny, and you get that floral essence. It burns well. Didn't come soaked. I mean, this is definitely not a new order. That I must have had this since, I think there's less than a year on it, but it's not like I just got it in. This is, like I said, this is really a good holiday mixture for me. So with that vanilla, that almond, if it would have had a touch of anise, or like, anisette, that anise flavor, this would have tasted like a biscotti to me, like something my aunt would make, over Christmas when you just have the tray of cookies. That's the only thing it's missing. See, I love that little bit of anise topping too. I would have died if it would have had that. But it's still really good. Think like vanilla wafer or a vanilla almond cookie, something like that. I mean, you could still taste the Virginias. So this is about as far as I want to go with aromatics. I don't like the real artificial topping, goopy Cavendish blend like I had years when I first got into pipe smoking. I was watching I was watching Mutton Chop Piper, and he was talking about his favorites, and he loves that CAO's Eileen's Dream. And I've tried it, and it's just wet. It was like wet Cavendish. I'm surprised he likes that. I don't like that at all. But and because we like a lot of the same tobaccos, and I was just, that one just is not. That's an aromatic. That's just like, you're just smoking it for the almost for the aroma in the room, rather than the bowl note. But this is actually as far as I want to go with my aromatics. That's why I like the Europeans. That's why I like kind of the rosewater floral, because if that's going to be the aromatic, that's good for me. That's almost enough. I still want the tobacco to look like and resemble tobaccos that I like to smoke. So this looks like a regular flake to me. And when I smoke it, I can taste the Virginias. So that's where I want to go with that. So anyway, if you're looking for an aromatic and something around the holidays, I think this is a good one. This is definitely a good one. It's on my list. I comprised a list of like maybe 10 tobaccos so far of that I'm going to be smoking around the holidays that are not typically, that they're not marketed as holiday blends. This is one. This is a good one. I enjoy it. So, lastly, just to mention again, it does come in bulk. So if you want the tin right now is like $15 and change on smoking pipes. But if you want to get the mixture, I'm going to look it up right now. I mean, you could just, if you're not sure, like you can get as little as 1 ounce of this. Oh, actually, it's out of stock right now. Oh, shit. Let me just delete this whole podcast. No, I'm just kidding. So, doesn't have the price because it's out of stock. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. Hang on a second, guys. Bear with me. All right, I found it. So if you go to Country Squire, they have an ounce for like $6. So if you wanted to try it like that, just buy an ounce and check it out. It is good. But anyway, that is my review on Ennerdale Mixture. Okay, so speaking of Ennerdale is one of those blends that I smoked a while ago, kind of put it away, but it always reminded me of the holiday season with that vanilla and that almond. And I'm always looking for reasons to break out other tobaccos that are not my daily smokes. It just helps me rotate blends. And I've talked about this in the past with like seasonal stuff and why I smoke some stuff in the summer versus the winter. But I have so much tobacco open. I mean, there's guys out there, and I'm kind of jealous of them, where they might only have like 3 to 5 tins open, and they smoke those until they're gone, and then they open up more tobacco. I am the opposite. From when I started into the hobby, whenever it was 2016, 2017, I kept ordering tobacco and opening the tins immediately because I didn't know what it was like and I wanted to try them. And, some I would just put away right away, label them and just jar them and just like, it's not for me. But I've always tried to think about, I always try and go back every once in a while. I'll just say to myself, what's down in the cellar or what I have down there? Ooh, I have this jar I haven't smoked in a long time. Maybe I'll try that again. And the seasons helps me do that. I'm at the point now where I got a really good handle on what I like. And if you listen to the podcast at all, you know too, so I'm not going to go over that. But the holiday season is another kind of it's just another excuse to go through other tobaccos. Instead of just saying winter, summer, or the 4 seasons, spring, summer, winter, fall, the holiday season is also its own thing for me. And Ennerdale kind of made me think of that. I thought this would be a good blend to break out during the holiday season. So that got me to thinking about tobacco blends that are good holiday smokes, obviously just my opinion, but good holiday smokes that are not marketed as a holiday smoke, kind of like a sneaky holiday blend. There's Cornell and Deal puts out like We Three Kings and Corncob Pipe and a Button Nose, and Sutliff had Kringle Flake. But I'm talking about blends that are not marketed for the holidays that I thought, man, I kind of like it. I don't love it. It's not going to be an everyday smoke for me, but I'll remember this during the holiday season. So I put a little list together of tobaccos that I'm going to be breaking out during this Christmas season, because now we're past Thanksgiving. So now this is Christmas season. So I'm going to go over that now. Obviously, Ennerdale is on that list. If you listen to the first part of the podcast, it's a no-brainer, 100%. That's definitely one of the Mount Rushmores of holiday blends that are not marketed as holiday blends. Now, excuse me while I sip some tea. All right, so these are in no particular order. Ennerdale's on the list. Let me get my notes here. Okay, here's another one. Now, a couple of these are discontinued, but maybe you have them in your cellar like I do, and you never thought about them as a holiday blend. So just be forewarned, some of these are no longer because of Sutliff being sold. And I'm not going to mention Kringle Flake because I said these are blends that are not marketed as holiday blends. Okay, the first one is in English. I threw you off with that one. You thought I was going to go Virginia Perico on you, and here I'm starting you with an English. Edward G. Robinson, the old school OG Codger English blend that I guess was produced by Sutliff, I think, because I believe it's no longer available. But it is marketed as an English blend, but it's more of a Codger cut, almost like Prince Albert cut. And I actually did a review on this on one of my few podcasts that I have actually completed. And you probably have already heard that if you listen to this podcast. But I talked about Edward G. Robinson. And the reason I liked it as a holiday blend is because it had this plum note. So you can equate that with any tobacco that you're thinking of that has a plum note. And plums just kind of, to me, reminds me of Christmas. So that, to me, is one of my holiday blends that are not marketed as so. So speaking of plums, got to mention plum pudding. I mean, it's in the name, plum pudding. I never had like the food plum pudding. I think it's a holiday thing, but if you ever had plum pudding, or if you haven't, this is a great holiday blend. I mean, that's a great English blend. I haven't had it in many years now because of my whole thing with Latakia. I have special reserve plum pudding in the basement. I actually have a tin of regular plum pudding, probably 7 years old, that I haven't opened. Would love to get back to it one day. But plum pudding is another sneaky holiday blend. And then, speaking of plums, here we go. McBaron plum cake. Of course, McBaron's gone. Right? So, but if you have plum cake in your cellar, and for obvious reasons, that's a holiday blend for me because it's got the plum flavoring. It's kind of sweet. It's an English style ribbon. So that is one that I would say you should try for the holidays. All right, let's see. Okay, Codger blend that I think is a holiday blend. Half and Half. Half and Half has this like cherry and anise thing going on that doesn't sit well with me most of the year. I think I said in the podcast I like it. I like it, but it's like a once a year thing. I might have it, but I do think it's because it has that hints of cherry. I think it's actually more in the nose, and some anise or anise, that anisette, whatever that is. There's a little light note of that, and I think that could be a good holiday blend. And this is a good idea too. If you're in the mood, if you're tis the season type of guy, but you're like, I really don't want to go out and buy, Christmas specific tobacco, but you have some Half and Half around. There you go. Grab a corn cob, throw some Half and Half in there. Okay, speaking of that anise flavor, or that licorice flavor, however you want to call it. See, I don't know if this happened to you, but when I was growing up and I would stop in my friends' houses during the holidays, their dads would probably, bring you over a shot of something. And a lot of times it was Sambuca. So that Sambuca is anisette, which reminds me is that anise flavor, which is that licorice flavor. And that's what kind of just goes right to my brain with the holiday season. But here's a great English blend with that licorice flavor that I also haven't had in years and I want to get back to because I have a tin in my cellar. Got to have at least 5 years on it, probably more. Bengal Slices. Bengal Slices is this dark, rich English tobacco, and it has an obvious casing or topping layer of that anisette, anise, licorice, black licorice, whatever you want to call it. It's got that on it, and it is yummy. I have a couple others in here. I don't know why. I wrote down Carolina Red Flake, and it's probably because I'm smoking Carolina Red Flake 2022, which is a straight Virginia, but it's so spicy. It's spicier than some Virginia Periques that I have. And for me, I'm going to be smoking Carolina Red Flake, especially that 2022, because I also have another tin of it unopened in the cellar. Oh yeah, my hands in the air like I'm celebrating something. I know you can't see that. That's one I have on the list. Ooh, I have St. Bruno on the list. I don't know if you ever had St. Bruno. I can't remember why I wrote St. Bruno down, but I think it's kind of like a Lakeland thing. And that one is on my list. I'm sorry, I just can't remember why I have that one on my list. But probably any Lakeland, really, or anything with Tonkin bean, really, like 1792 flake from Sam Gowith. Well, Ennerdale's like that too. But I think that Tonquin bean, because it's got that vanilla and it's kind of dark, and or that Lakeland Dark from Sam Gowith or anything like that, I think would be good during the holiday season, Christmas season. You get them. You're looking for those funky flavors you don't have most of the year. I mean, that's the way I also look at it. And but I mean, if that's your regular smoke, you might be like, oh, what the hell is this? This is nothing. But I don't know any Lakeland full-time smokers. So if you are one, that's awesome. I enjoy it. It's just that it's not my everyday. I have one here. This one I'm not 100% sure about, but I have one here, GLP's Westminster. Westminster was my first love, one of my first loves of tobacco. It's really what got me into smoking tobacco. It was like one of the ones that I was smoking after like the hamster cage crap that my local B&M was giving me. When I discovered it was actually Dunhill's London Mixture, which almost smokes like a Balkan if you ever had it. But that when that went bye, even though Peterson bought the Dunhill blends, they never brought back London Mixture. But I went to another tobacconist and he turned me on to GLP's Westminster, which was kind of like made in the vein of London Mixture, and I loved it even more. It was even darker and even richer. But I think I put Westminster on here because I don't know if you can relate to this or not. Some of you will be able to relate to this. Some of you will not. But growing up, I mean, I was raised and I'm a Catholic, and this is not a religious part of the show. But in church, a couple times a year, they break out the incense. I think it's during the holiday season. And if you were ever in a church or a religious ceremony or ever just smelled like that incense, and you'll know it you'll know if it, if you've ever smelled it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, what's so funny about this is when I smoked Balkan blends and I first got into, which was Westminster and London Mixture, like English blends that had a lot of Turkish, Oriental, I said, oh my God, the smell, that's probably what's burning in the incense during those masses. So that kind of reminds me of, like a holiday season. So that could probably work for any Balkan blend you have. But Westminster just was like, I just remember it being the Turkish Oriental being at the forefront. So I think of it more as a Balkan blend. Okay, so we're going to get down to it. This is the last one I have. And this blend, I'm going back and forth on it. And I'm a little bit jokingly pissed off at this blend. Excuse me a second. What I mean is, I think it's falsely advertised. Okay. And obviously I'm just kind of joking. It's not a big deal. And I would never, we're just talking about tobacco blends here, so I don't take anything too seriously, but I'm talking about, there's a blend out here that tastes like chocolate and cherries. And did you ever have, like during the holiday season, I sell them in like CVS or Rite Aid or any of the department stores. They'll sell those boxes of dark chocolate with the cherry in the middle, and it either has like a cream or like a clearer liquid inside. There's a tobacco that tastes exactly like that. And this is not marketed as a holiday blend. It's marketed as a Virginia Perique blend, and it's made by Warped, and it's called Warped the Red Hunt. Now, I got this blend, I think, at the beginning of the year. The second I smoked it, I said, oh my God, this is chocolate cherries. Like, I have I'm not into this at all right now. It's definitely high quality tobacco. It's the guys from Warped Cigar, and I think they made it with Jeremy Reeves. They collaborated with Cornell and Deal. They come up with all these blends. There's like 5 or 6 blends, maybe more. But I was like, my God, this is so overwhelmingly obvious chocolate and cherries that I can't even, doesn't taste like a Virginia Perique to me. But I'm going to jar it up. I'm going to put it away and I'm going to have it. I'm going to break it out during Christmas because this would be a perfect Christmas blend. So I recently broke it back out and I was smoking it again. And I was like, was it that obvious, chocolate and cherry? And I'm smoking it. And while I'm smoking it, I'm looking up reviews. I'm reading about it and I'm watching reviews on YouTube. Okay. Everyone who smoked this blend says the same thing, chocolate cherries, and it knocks you over the head. So here's my problem. In my opinion, this is mislabeled. This should be an aromatic. This is not a Virginia Perique because it's too obvious. I know there's no probably governing body that cares about what families these tobaccos go into. I don't know who it's left up to market their blends. Is it the company? Is it the blender? I don't know. I'm assuming it's the guys at Warped in their marketing department. They said we want to call this a Virginia Perique. But if you ever had this, or if you have it and you try it, I dare you to tell me this is not an aromatic. There's no way that the natural tobacco can taste like this. And I'm not saying it because I think it's amazing. It's good, but it's so clearly chocolate and cherries that's all I can taste. It's just, and the problem I have with it is if it was labeled as an aromatic, I probably wouldn't have bought it. That's the problem. So the other problem is it changes, in my opinion, it changes your perspective on a blend. Like imagine smoking like, oh God, I don't know. Imagine smoking like, take Cornell and Deal's like Autumn Evening. Now, I've never had it, but everybody says it tastes like maple pancakes or something. Now, imagine if that just said like straight Virginia. And you're sitting there smoking this thing like, oh my God, this is amazing. How do these Virginias taste so sweet? Like, that's kind of cheating, in my opinion. Now, is it a big deal? No, it's not. They can market their stuff however they want because maybe there's aromatic smokers out there that wouldn't have gotten this blend because it says family, that it's Virginia. And maybe there's an aromatic guy going, man, if this was and they're not even searching on Virginia Periques. Maybe they're missing it. So I don't know like how they go about doing it or how they decide. But and then obviously this is all in fun. I don't care how they do it, but just my opinion, I just can't imagine. I just don't understand why it's not an aromatic unless somebody came out and told me for 100% sure there was no, I know all blends have some kind of casing and topping, but that's not what I'm talking about. I know there's blends that like Orlick Golden Slice might have a little bit of honey. I get that. But no one's going to say it's an aromatic. Well, maybe there's some people that might say it's an aromatic, but for the most part, everybody's like, yeah, it's a Virginia Perique, right? There's a lot of straight Virginias that might have like a little splash of honey. Okay. But this to me is so overwhelming. I'm shocked that it's not categorized as an aromatic. That's it. That's my little rant. I haven't done a rant. I don't think ever. I don't know, but that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, I'm glad I stumbled upon it because it is a great holiday blend. And I rather smoke tobaccos like this, okay, and that are really good quality tobaccos instead of going and get like just a Cavendish aromatic for the season. I don't like, that's probably why I never got Autumn Evening, is because when I watch reviews on it and I see the tobacco itself, I'm like, that just looks like a lot of Cavendish and, tons of topping flavors on it. And I'm not interested in that. I rather have tobaccos that kind of still taste like tobacco, but maybe have hints here, hints there. Ennerdale is an obvious knock you over the head. Vanilla and almond, no doubt about it. And the Warp, the Red Hunt. The other ones, not so much. The other ones can be smoked any time of year, but it depends on, and then the subtle top note can, kind of lead you to smoking it, certain times of year or not, obviously. But anyway, guys, that's it. I was going to actually try to do like a breakdown of each one of these and do an episode for each one leading into the holiday season, but knowing me, I'm never going to get to it in time. So, plus we're like, the very beginning of December, and there's no chance of me, doing 7 reviews before Christmas. So, I figured I'd just put all this list in one, and I'll have to come up with some other topic for the next one. But anyway, gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I did get your feedbacks, and I appreciate it. I'm always looking at those. Thanks again. And always check me. You want to hit me up at any time. I'm on Instagram at Talkin Tobacco. Thank you, guys. Have a great holiday season. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. And I'll talk to you soon.